ミリオンズ・ナイブスという名前は聞いたことあるかい？第3都市、ジュライ。そこに奴はいる。
Okay, we need to talk about Trigun. So, in case you guys don't know, Trigun is basically getting a reboot. It looks like a reboot. To be honest, I don't really know what it is. It's getting like a CGI remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, but it's basically a newly designed Trigun anime that is based in CG and looks to be the same type of story. I don't think it's a prequel or anything, but this does come out in January. So, you know, if it is a reboot, we will be seeing it in about 7 days. Before I start talking about this actual new remake, reboot, whatever it is, I want to talk about the original real quick. The original one is like kind of a special place in my heart, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's an older anime. It was back when I started first watching anime. It's one of the first anime I've ever watched all the way through. Alright, time for a little bit of stats. Set on a fictional planet known as No Man's Land, the plot follows Vash the Stampede, a famous gunman who is constantly fighting bounty hunters seeking to attain the immense bounty on his head. And that's basically your general synopsis. And there are these two characters that are following around, you know, with Vash, and his whole thing is that whenever he goes, he's known as the Human Typhoon. This is just straight off memory for me right now. He's known as the Human Typhoon. He directs a lot of stuff. He breaks a lot of stuff. He's very much a very dangerous person to the environment. Something that was interesting about Trigun for me, like the anime, and Vash the Stampede as a character, is that he tried to be a pacifist. You know, he really tried to be somebody that didn't really want to resolve into fighting. You know, he didn't really want to. But he's done a lot of things, and, you know, without really spoiling anything, because if you've seen the anime, you know what I'm talking about. Without really spoiling much, that, you know, it's a lot of interesting backstory with him. And, you know, I don't really want to get into that because that is heavy spoiler territory, and it is a fantastic anime. I think is really still good today. Obviously, it is a little bit dated. Came out in 1998. Even as a fun fact, it came out on April 1st, 1998, and ran all the way to September 30th. Now, it had like 26 episodes, but if I'm being truthfully honest, I felt like it was more back in the day. Not that it was like long or dragging or whatever. It was actually a great anime. You know, just off base memory, I can never look back at this anime and have bad memories, because I do remember the plot to a very heavy extent. You know, like for me watching it years ago. I didn't watch it when it originally came out, but I do know that when I did watch it, it was maybe like early 2000s. So that was definitely like 20 some years ago. Now, surprisingly, by my voice, you would think I'm not that old, but I am pretty old. We're not really gonna get into that though. But yeah, I watched this anime like a long time ago, so I'm definitely predating myself. But not only was Vash the Stampede one of the coolest names, you know what I'm saying, he had a really dope design. Like, even, you know, back then, you know, they would always say like 90s anime is some of the best designed anime, because that aesthetic, that anime aesthetic is so fire. Here's what I want though, and then we'll talk about this, and I'll talk about the new Stampede thing or whatever. What I want is, I want them to start making, if they're gonna remake anime, some anime at least. I do love when anime gets redesigned with new and better graphics, but it'd be cool to have like the little X-Men thing, how X-Men is coming back with like the same graphics, but it's gonna be probably paced better, and it's gonna be, you know, the audio is gonna be better or whatever, just a same art style but just better. You know, that'd be cool. But let's get into Vash the Stampede, you know, because it's already too late for this, because they already got a remake or reboot or whatever. Let's talk about Vash Stampede, or Trigun Stampede, I believe it's called, because, you know, it's like a second series. Okay, so from what I can pretty much gather from this actual Trigun Stampede anime is that it's going to be a different story, because parts that I didn't really want to spoil in the original Vash the Stampede and stuff about him having a brother and stuff, it's in this anime, and it's heavy prevalent, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely something that's just out there in the open, like from watching the trailers and stuff. So, you know, it looks to be a different type of anime, so that for that I'm not mad. If it's like if it's a reboot and a different retelling, I'm obviously not mad. I honestly wouldn't be mad just going back to the original story again, because I thought that was really, really good. But let's talk about design, man. Let's talk about design real quick. Okay, unpopular opinion about Vash's design. I actually do like his design. I mean, obviously it's in CG, so it's gonna look a bit weirder than, you know, watching the actual original 90s design. And the original 90s design is so fire that, you know what I'm saying, I understand why people don't want him to be redone. But if we go for a new look, I honestly would understand why they would make it more modern. It is a more modern look. Like I said, I actually do like his design. You know, it's interesting. It's not like, I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever, but I like it, man. I really do. And I think Orange is they're gonna do a great job doing this this CG. I think the CG is gonna be decent. I actually do not mind CG movies, surprisingly. Like, I'm not really a person that just hates CG. I hate very bad CG. I hate what CG has done to Berserk. But like I said, I think Orange is gonna do some work, man, because they did Land of the Lustrous, amazing, beautiful, Dimension W, Black Bullet. And as from the story, man, I really am glad to be diving back into the Vash world, even if it is a reboot or a different retelling of the story. I'm really glad to be kind of diving in that. I don't know about you guys who are out here watching this video, but it definitely sounds okay with me. But that being said, let me know if you guys are really rocking with this anime or not. And I'll see you guys next video.
やれやれだぜ。